Hello, hello, hello. Can you believe it is day 18 of my month? And I have to say that thank you to all the people who give me such a lot of positive feedback. That combined with everything else, I'm sure really has made a difference. If I think about, I still have days like I did last week where I lie in bed and pretend that I don't exist. But in general, I would say kind of my base mood has increased a couple of points. So maybe my base mood has gone from like being a 3 out of 10 to maybe being a 5 out of 10. And I am, for the first time, having vague memories of Josh beyond the last year, and in particular the last hours of his life, which were kind of the only memories that I had after he died. So thank you, guys. You will see that I am looking slightly peculiar today. I did not go and visit like plastic surgeon, although if I had gone to a plastic surgeon, I'd probably wanted my money back. But these weird circles around my eyes is for a good reason. Actually, after not being able to exercise because of the whole going out thing, which isn't getting terrifically better, if I'm honest, it is swimming season here. And so I have got back into the water and have been doing my daily swims again. Obviously, it's not quite the same because I'm not in an Olympic size pool like I would be at the gym, but in our home pool, going back and forth for hours on end. How I make it bearable. I actually really love swimming, but it's boring, right? So I have, years ago, the kids bought me these amazing headphones that go underwater. Hey, Mandy. These amazing earphones that you can use underwater. So I listen to podcasts and then I can just keep swimming for hours. The reason why I suppose that it is swimming season is because we are officially supposedly having a heat wave at the moment. I'm slightly like Grandpa Simpson in his inability to acknowledge the state of Missouri, and that I do not acknowledge heat waves in South Africa in November. Every year in November, we have like 3 or 4 days in a row where it's really hot. So today, the temperature is supposed to get to, I think, 35 degrees, with chances of thunderstorms in the afternoon, which is quite cool. But it happens every year. And every year, everyone goes, oh, it's a heat wave. And I'm like, it's November, guys. Like that, this stuff happens. I really hope everyone watching this in the UK is feeling really shit at the moment because it's lovely. And the other thing that you'll be noticing is my delicious blue rinse. So one of the things I'm going to talk about one of these days is the anxiety I have about partially filled, multiple versions of partially filled personal care product bottles. So because of that, I was washing my hair this morning and I had too much for that last wash, but not quite enough to make it go for another day. So I had a big handful of purple shampoo and now I have a lovely old lady purple rinse. But actually, I kind of like it. Anyway, that's it. So today, I actually wanted to talk about something that if you had asked me about say in, I don't know, 1988 or 89, I would have been pretty cynical about. I went to a school who, bizarrely enough, decided that they would have their school motto not in Latin but in French. And excuse my French because I really, I scraped through O-level, but their school motto was Plus et en vous. And that means that, their rough translation is there is more in you than you think. And I remember being a cynical 17-year-old going, oh, really? Come on, guys. Like, that's just an excuse to make me climb another mountain, And, anyone who knew me at the time I was much, much more interested in getting lost in the woods with David Brayshaw than I was about actually doing orienteering at the time. So, it was just an excuse. But actually, it's been a really interesting year for me. So, up until Josh got sick and I gave up my job, I had spent the last 10 years being in a helper profession. As an executive coach, I spent my days fleecing quite a lot of middle and senior executives who really just wanted someone to talk to, because leadership is kind of lonely, and helping them with techniques on how to feel better, how to be a bit more engaged, how to be more strategic, how to play the corporate game better. And in that industry, yeah, Mandy, I'm not sure that David Brayshaw was going to love this chat so much. Mandy's saying she loves this chat. Yeah, he probably doesn't have as fond memories as I do. Especially because I broke up with him afterwards, because it wasn't really David I was interested in. It was Jamie Ireland. But I mean, I had to take a number and join the queue with Jamie Ireland. Anyway, about Plus vous. So what happened in this is that when Joshie got sick, I expected, being the kind of person, so maybe I need to take a step back. I finished my last A level at school and left that day to go gallivanting in the States with my friend Scarlett. And I had a fabulous summer, and I thought that I would never look back really at school. You know, school was done. You know, I didn't stay for the leavers ball. I really just wasn't interested in that. I've never been a tremendously sentimental person. And so when Joshie got sick and kind of word got out, I really expected that these helper profession people, these people who talk about abundance and talk about care as part of actually our code of ethics as a profession, they were actually busy that day. Very, very few of them. You know, there are some, Jackie Wilkin, Nikki Castles, there's one or two others who have spent way, way, way too many days. Leif and Lochrenberg is another one, listening to me moan about the profession and all those things. But really, with the exception of that kind of handful of people, and I know there's one or two others I've forgotten, the industry and all these people who had been jolly friendly when I was the person who held the purse strings to a big corporate coaching project were kind of missing in action. And it was really brought to a head to me on the day of Joshua's memorial service. So Joshua didn't have a traditional funeral. We had a memorial service. I'm sure lots of you will have tuned in, and we live streamed it, but we asked everyone to come in their superhero t-shirts, and really we told stories about Josh, and we invited people to tell their stories about Josh. And you know, lots of people have come back and told me it was the best memorial they've been to, and I think Josh would have liked it, especially the bit where all the memorial candles like went up into flame, and then the science teacher tried to put out the wax fire with a bottle of water. I think that was the highlight. But the interesting thing for me on that day was that there was a handful, really less than 5, of these people out of, you know, a community of hundreds and hundreds of people who had tamed friendship with me over the years, who were there. And this leads me to the next thing. So I was really hurt by this, you know. But the most amazing thing actually happened, because during that year, all these kids, you know, most of them who I remember being like Mandy, actually, who were much, much too cool for me ever to talk to at school, came creeping out of the woodwork after more years than we would care to disclose, with messages and care and attention, and really looked after me in a way that I could never ever have imagined. And so I guess in this is one of my kind of anxieties turned out to be non-anxiety. An anxiety I had all the way through high school was that, you know, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I'm just going to go sit outside Plulin's and eat some worms. Plulin's was the house I was in at school. And actually so many of these people have been so caring and have looked after me, and, you know, kept the spirit of Josh alive, and still post amazing things in Josh's cancerous Facebook group. And it's really made me reassess kind of like, what is friendship? And I guess, and it is about anxiety, I'm getting to the anxiety, okay? The thing is that when Joshie's memorial was not attended by lots of my professional people, I thought, well, you know what? Like, I'm actually less pissed off than just I have a data point here. It's like, you know, when someone's kids dies, I think that's sort of a big deal. You might, you know, be able to just find an hour of the day to come and eat the world's most expensive samosas. The world's most expensive samosas are because if I tried to calculate the hourly rate of all these amazing Indian women that are part of my friends. You know, one is like an executive director of a bank, another one's a management consultant who does corporate governance. I was trying to calculate like their going rates whilst they spent the morning frying samosas for me that were delicious, by the way, ladies. But actually my anxiety was like, well, then actually, you know, you're not actually a friend, really, if you can't pitch in that moment. And then I had this massive dilemma, because the thing is like, I might go, well, you're not a friend of mine, but like, it's sort of awkward if like, you know, that I think you're not a friend of mine. So like, then I'm sitting there going, okay, but then I'm going to unfriend these people. But you see, the thing is, if you unfriend people, they can find out. So actually what I did was I unfollowed them, because I thought that would have like less drama. I think over the course of the year, they might have noticed that I've stopped commenting on any of their stuff on Facebook and have like quietly just dropped me, and probably have actually unfollowed me back or unfriended me. But my anxiety is, and I have this a lot, is like, it's okay if I don't like you, but I have massive anxiety if like I think you maybe don't like me. And I don't have an answer for that, except the one thing that I'll do is, guys who went to Audenston, I know, and you know, that at the time we thought it was a load of crap, but there is more in you that you think. You have been amazing people. Oh, I'm getting soppy now. There has been much, much more in you than you think. And when you, after what, 25, 30 years, actually like reach out to somebody who you haven't spoken to in years and years and years, and you reach out and make their day just like one tiny, tiny bit more bearable, there is more in you than you think. And so I guess not everybody gets to go to a place like that, but it is one of the things that we can still instill in our friends and our children and the people that we can influence is, you do not know, for people who suffer with anxiety or going just through shit, that a one-liner, a joke, a meme, a whatever, guys, you don't know what the difference it made to me. And that's something that you should keep doing, and the rest of us should keep doing. And it's one of the things that I've learned out of this, is that I am going to do it more. You guys rock. Yes. And Brett Smart, if it helps, Julie and I were madly in love with you all the way through school, and we watch your Facebook posts all the time now, and we still feel envious of your wife. We love you madly. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.